Hi there, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I apologise for the cough there. A bit of a rough start. Um, First of all, really happy to be doing another stream. It's been a while since the last one. That was a transfer stream. This is going to be a bit different. It's just going to be more general chat on Palace at the moment because there's a lot to talk about. Not the happiest time to be a Palace fan right now, not going to lie. So yeah, I was originally going to do a Palace Daily today just to talk about pre-season, my thoughts, but I thought there's going to be a few too many topics to talk about. There's going to be too much really to discuss in a Palace Daily that I wanted to get across. So I wanted to do a stream. Obviously, got more time, able to again talk to you guys and for you to take questions or to hear your thoughts, which I really enjoy doing, and I think is really important for the channel as well. Not a lot of Palace stuff like this going about, There's obviously loads of blogs, loads of places like fan blogs, fan pages where you can write stuff and discuss with other fans, but nothing really in video format. So hopefully this is a good outlet for you guys and getting your thoughts across to other Palace fans and to the community. Right, let's get into it then. So there's not really, I haven't really planned a structure to this. I'm just going to start talking about mainly what happened last night in the pre-season game against Barnet, and then we'll go from there. And if we have questions along the way, we'll start doing that. I'll just get my points across first and foremost. So, kick things off with with the game against Barnet in pre-season. We'll get into that. So, as I guys are sure you're aware, last night we played, well, you may not be aware to be honest. One moment. Sorry about this, guys. Well, personally, I've completely forgot we were playing Barnet last night. It was only when the club tweeted out, an hour till kickoff, here's the lineup, that I actually remembered, oh yeah, we are playing we are playing a team tomorrow in pre-season. First and foremost, I want to just, before we go any further, on Twitter I saw quite a few people breaking down, as usual on Palace Twitter. Not criticising them for that, but some people feel very passionately about it or angry about situations in pre-season or transfer windows, and I understand that. I'm never going to come out and, unless there's a reason for it, like really bad reasons for it, I'm never going to come out and start, slaughtering the club. And voicing my opinion in that way, on Twitter at least, or stuff like that. But I wanted to just get across that I think that it's wrong. People are very much overreacting, I think, to the result. Yes, we lost 6-2 to Barnet, and we're under the name Crystal Palace. It's not Crystal Palace Academy, Crystal Palace Women's. Who are also called Crystal Palace now, but we're under the senior team, that the main name Crystal Palace. We're losing 6-2 to Barnet. In any scenario, it's not going to be nice for the fans, is it? My initial reaction was more that it was funny, to be honest. I wasn't concerned about it, and the reason that I don't think people should be that concerned about it is the fact that it was an under-21 game. There were only 3 players that could make it into the first team. Sorloth, Wickham and Riedewald started. Riedewald pretty much was an under-23 player last season. Sorloth was out on loan. I doubt he's going to get game time now, the fact he still couldn't score against Barnet last night. Wickham's the only one of those 3 who realistically gets on our bench right now. So when you look at it like that, the rest of the team were under-21, under-23 players, however you want to call it. My main concern after the game was the under-21s aren't in a good spot right now. Like, they're clearly not ready. They clearly have had a slow start to pre-season. If we can go 2-0 up and then just concede 6 against Barnet. So for me, I'm not too worried in terms of how it will affect our Premier League preparation or the Premier League squad. I don't think it's going to matter that much. It's just not very nice to see when Roy Hodgson's managing the team. It's Crystal Palace, and the team selection he's put out is an under-21 team, and we get pumped by Barnet. It's never nice in any scenario. Hello everyone, by the way. Thanks for coming in and supporting the stream. Good to see some familiar faces. I'll answer some questions in a minute, guys. I'll just finish on my point. So that's the first thing. Please, if any of you were people on social media just ranting at the team saying we're screwed, we're gonna go down. We're gonna get relegated. This is awful. Roy needs to sort stuff out, or Parish needs to sort stuff out. Just let's calm down. Just look at it on face value. It was an under 21 team. Also, great debut for Henderson. Equally, people slaughtering Henderson. He's our third choice keeper. I don't care. In all honesty, he's our third choice keeper. If it comes to him being in goal, then it will be for an early round cup game. That's the only time we're going to see him. And pre-season, realistically, unless there's an injury crisis, touch wood. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say on it. I couldn't watch any of it, unfortunately. I was out at the time when kickoff started. I would have been back in time for like the second half, but even so, I didn't have the right membership to watch it, and I'm not going to be paying for a gold membership or anything like that to watch bloody pre-season against Barnet. Fair play to any people who went there. Obviously, it's not nice when you're making the journey. You're paying the money for petrol or train tickets, whatever, to go there, and you see that. I know it's pre-season, and realistically, it's the same with the people who beat Young Boys when we got beat by Young Boys. Let's all calm down. Like, they're a Champions League team. It's a pre-season tournament. It's only our second pre-season game. It's all about fitness and building up our tactical familiarity, trying to gel as a squad, things like that. It's not about necessarily results. It's about fitness building, trying to build up performances as a team and starting to gel even more and get back into the swing of things, in time for the season to start. So when we lost to Young Boys, they're a Champions League team. They're a week away from starting their season. The fact we lost isn't the end of the world. I know that some people have poor games, but that's what happens in pre-season. They're coming back from some time off. They need to get back up to the speed of things. It happens. I don't care. I honestly don't care we lost the Young Boys. I care for the under-21s that we got hammered by Barnet. I think that is worrying. And yeah, so in general with pre-season right now, it's not been the greatest start to pre-season, mainly because of all the reaction online to it, and it isn't nice. Let's be real. It's not nice to see your team lose in any format, whether it's pre-season or whatever. But I'm not taking that as we're going to go down. I'm not going to link the Premier League and pre-season together, because you shouldn't really. Obviously, it kind of sums up. I'll get into Parish and transfers and stuff in a minute, but that's my thought on the Barnet game pre-season, to be honest. Let's just relax, take it a step back and just look at it at face value for what it is. Under 21s, only 3 players that could potentially get onto the bench for Palace's first team. It's not the end of the world, but it's not nice either. Sorry guys, thank you for being patient, those who've put in stuff down in comments and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to just, I'll answer a few questions before we get on to another topic. We're 22 days into the transfer window. Do you think we'll keep Zaha? I do think we'll keep Zaha. I don't think anyone's going to be able to pay the money that we want. If someone does on deadline day or a few days before bring up a bid that is big enough for what we want, like 80 mil plus, even then I think that'll be too late, because we won't have time to replace him with a proper replacement. So I think unless something happens over the next week or so, I think we're definitely keeping him. And the fact Arsenal seem to be looking elsewhere as well, drifting towards Everton, the winger from the Brazilian winger. It looks like they're moving and onto different targets, and that's good to see. That's good to see as a Palace fan. So I think we will keep Zaha. Odds on Palace finishing below Brighton. We could be both scrapping towards near the bottom if we're not careful. I think at Brighton, I still feel like that Graham Potter's a very, very risky manager appointment for Brighton. I think we'll still finish above them. We're Palace at the end of the day. That's what we do. We finish above Brighton. I was running late to the match. Got there in the 10th minute as we went to. Mitch, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Running late, getting there. That's the thing. We went 2-0 up as well, and Wickham scored a goal. That's the only positive you can really take from that game. Wickham scored, and he's continuing to show good signs of development back from his injury. And I really think that I still think he's going to be a good option off the bench as a different kind of striker in the Premier League for certain games. If it's a different scenario, we need to try and change up tactically. I think Wickham is a good option off the bench. I really do, and I think he puts a lot of effort in for the team, and it's good to see. Oh my God, Charlie! How the hell are you watching this? Up the Palace, by the way, guys, is my brother, Charlie. How are you watching this, Charlie? He's out in Madagascar at the moment, so can we get a thumbs up for Charlie, #Charlie in the chat? Good on you, mate. I hope you're enjoying it out there. But most likely first summer signing, I've got no idea at this point. I will get on to summer signings and stuff and transfer situation in a minute because obviously Roy's come out after the Barnet game with some really interesting quotes, and I will discuss that in a second. So I'll talk about that in later. But Charlie, that's mad. I didn't think you'd have Wi-Fi out there. What's your opinion on that Lille centre back? Because in my opinion, Roy needs to look at bringing in some young lads rather than using 50 mil to buy players in positions that we don't need. It's a good point, Dan. Yeah, for sure. As I said in the previous comment, I will get into that in just a moment, and I'll answer all these sort of transfer related questions of who we need to sign, etc. I'll answer that in just a moment. Mitch, it doesn't matter much for the first team most, but you'd hope the academy players would be at the level where they could get a league. Yeah, exactly, Mitch. That's what and that's exactly my point. It doesn't matter for the first team at all in our Premier League preparation, in my opinion. But for the under 21s and the academy players, it's like I've seen them going on a steady rise. There's been some great performances in recent years. Obviously, the younger team, the under 16s, won that floodlight tournament as well, beating I believe it was Chelsea in the final. Oh, sorry, it might have been Wigan. I apologise. Wigan in the final. And the academy's in a good spot. We've had good finishes in the league and the under-23s as well. We've got players like Nia Kirby coming through, having great loan performances at League One club, but like Blackpool. Daly out on loan. You've had certain players who are got very, very, looking very promising. Tyreek Mitchell as well in that game, in our first game in pre-season out in Switzerland, did very well at left back and defended very well. He looked like another, up and coming Wan-Bissaka. So we've got great players in the academy, and we've always throughout the last 20, 30 years, we've produced some fantastic players through our academy, and it's looking like that could happen again with some of the players coming through. You had Wan-Bissaka last summer, and more players knocking on the door, like Nia Kirby. I think he's at the forefront of that. And then you see a performance like this, where, to be fair, Nia Kirby wasn't playing, and some of those players weren't playing, but you have players like Lakilo, the highly rated winger we bought, managed to snatch a 17-18 from, and Arsenal and Spurs were very close to signing, and he managed to choose us over them. Very highly rated from Belgium, and he was on the bench, didn't really make an impact. You have players on there that really, this was their chance to step up and show Roy what it's made of, because we know Roy, after the whole Wan-Bissaka thing, can introduce young players into the squad, and they didn't take their chance. And for me, it's when they were going the steady trajectory up, like the academy players looking like they'll be knocking on the door for a first team spot potentially in the near future. You then have a result like this, and it looked like they didn't care by the sounds of things, and that's worrying to me. It's worrying in terms of their development, and I know it. I'm not going to delve into it again. I'm not going to delve into too much because they're just as they're at the beginning of their pre-season too. So it's I'm not going to delve into it that much and worry about it that much. But it is disappointing. You'd hope, as Mitch says, that League One, League Two teams that some of these players have been on loan at, they'd be at the level at this stage in pre-season. It just shows that we're behind, I think, other teams in pre-season, and it's not good to hear necessarily at any level in the club. You want all levels of the club to succeed. So that is something to worry about, in my opinion. Hopefully they can turn it around in their next game, like in pre-season. I think in terms of the first team, I know they were playing under the first team banner, but I think our next games now will be mostly first team players as we get closer to the start of the season. You'll see less and less academy players being involved. This was their big chance, in my opinion, to make a name for himself. Why aren't we in for Mitrovic, says James Angel? I don't know, mate. I think that we've got to prioritise, by the looks of it, replacing Wan-Bissaka in the defence. Again, I'll touch on this in a minute. Mitch, no, 100%. It's not a good look. Shipping 6 to non-league team at any level, it's not a good look. I'm not going to, take that result and now claim that the season ahead we're ruined for the season ahead, because it is, at the end of the day, a pre-season game. It just shows there's a lot more to work on than we thought at that level. And they're not a lot non-league team, Barnet, anymore. I think they're promoted, right? They met actually. No, sorry, you're right. I think they are still non-league. Yeah, it's not good at all. It's just embarrassing more than anything. Even though it's pre-season, it's still embarrassing, to be beaten. Had 6 not past you. I'm just trying to keep a level head about it and just remember it is pre-season and it literally has no correlation with how you're going to do in the season whatsoever. It's just building up fitness, etc. Dan, Caddy, Ward, and PVA back full for Everton. We're going to get destroyed. Again, this is relating to what local cafes Wi-Fi. Well done, Charlie. Well done. Zilf Waha. That name every time, man. It's obviously links to what Roy said in his interview after the game, and I'll touch on that. I'll touch on that now. Jake Hart, by the way, it was Boateng who scored, youngster, and Wickham who scored our 2 goals. No, Ethan Nye didn't play yesterday. So some of the bigger academy names didn't play yesterday either. So it's not, it's not the be all end all. Tristan Palace will become top 10 if we sign a new striker. I'd like to think so. We've been looking for a goal scorer for years now, and Batshuayi is the man. I think but I don't think we'll be able to afford him because Chelsea, I think, want to keep him. They've got a transfer ban. It's going to be very hard to get him in or someone of his quality in. Please forget the 2 games Aaron didn't play last year. We won 4-1 and Ward scored in the other. Good point, George. A lot of people losing their heads. Oh, no, losing their heads is a bit harsh, but a lot of people getting upset the fact that Wan-Bissaka goes out and immediately we then lose a 6-2 to Barnet, or we show signs of really poor signs of defensive frailty. And how are we going to defend against in the Premier League now with Wan-Bissaka not there and it's not looking like any signs of a replacement? Let me just clear up. Obviously, after the game, Roy Hodgson, very disappointed, probably angry as well that we capitulated the way we did. Even in pre-season, he's like a professional coach. He does everything, by the book. Got very high standards. And he would have been angry at that. He would have been angry of how we just sort of let the result run away from us. Direct quotes from him after the game said that it's looking very he used very specific language as well. He was saying it looked incredibly bad, our defensive options at the moment. We've got 3 injuries, and I think he's talking about Saka and Tompkins. Obviously, I think both of them are back in training or rehab, and they may miss the start of the season and may not be fully fit for a few weeks into the season, fully back to Premier League fitness. But they're at least they're on the mend. But they're out. I also think that it may have been Danny was talking about is the other centre back that is got a knock or is not fully fit. So that leaves us with very little in terms of centre back options, obviously, because there are 3 first choice centre backs, 3 main centre backs. And he was saying that we need to do what we need to replace them. We need to get the defensive options in, and it was almost a message to Parish and the board, pull your finger out, let's get going here. We need to crack on. Fair play to Roy for saying that. I think he's just saying his mind. Obviously, again, that worries fans, and I know that there's been some reaction to that online, oh, that's it, we're screwed. We are absolutely screwed. And I can understand people having that sort of reaction because when your manager comes out and he's that firm in what he's saying and saying we've got defensive problems, let's sort it out, and he's not happy, we've just lost 6-2 to Barnet. All of these things together is not good as a fan. Let's be real, it's not good to hear as a fan whatsoever. And, it's got to be sorted. It has got to be sorted. And I think it is a message to the board to sort themselves out. We need to spend the Wan-Bissaka money on a replacement for Wan-Bissaka, a decent replacement that can play in the Premier League, maybe a young one, a fullback that has potential to get even better. A young Premier League fullback is what we need. Don't need to spend all the money on replacing him. I think that'd be stupid, and I don't think there'll be any people. I don't think actually there'll be any players worth that much in terms of transfer value that want to come to Palace anyway. But 20 to 25 mil, something like that, maybe on a top fullback to bring in to replace Wan-Bissaka. I think another bunch of that money needs to go into another centre back, not necessarily a first choice, but another backup centre back. Then we will have another defensive option to have, which sounds like we need at centre back because we have very injury prone centre backs. I think another centre back is now needed. And originally, I wasn't thinking that route, but when Roy came out with this, it immediately made me think, right, he's saying we need a centre back option as well as a new right back. So So that's two options there, and that's most of that Wan-Bissaka money will go, I think, off of those sort of things. Unless we can pull out a good deal at right back or the centre back option. And then for me, you need to have we need a first choice striker again. And then if that's the only business we do, a right back, a new first choice right back, a backup centre back, and a first choice striker. If that's the only business we do, I think it's not a bad window. I still think we need another option as a winger. I think Zaha and Townsend, them aside, we're putting Schlupp up there really, but there's not that many options. Maya can go that wide. There's not many different options that we can use up in those winger positions, or someone to challenge at least Zaha and Townsend for a starting spot. They're dead certs, and it's good to have that friendly competition. Someone in the club who's trying to push for that starting spot, and then that will help push Townsend and even Zaha. Even though Zaha's always going to be in the team sheet, first name on the team sheet, it's going to push those people to to keep their game up, which is good. So, in my opinion, we need 4 signings. If we can get 3 of those signings down and centre back, and for me, right back and striker being 2, we have to get. Centre back and winger, the other 2 options there. I think we need 2, but not as important. Then I'll be very, very happy if we can get 3 over the line of those 4. I think that would be an okay window. I think it'd be an okay window. I think we'll address the areas we needed to address, but it's not looking like we're going to do that. It's not looking. It's, again, lastminute.com, and this has been my problem. This is my main problem with Parish at the moment. I'm not one of those people like get Parish out of the club. He's an absolute, so and so. See you next Tuesday. I'm not gonna say that at all, because I love Parish. I love what he's done with the club, and we're in the most successful period in our history, and I'm so happy to be alive and witnessing it. And looking bright. It still does look. It still looks bright for the years ahead. We're continuing to develop as a Premier League club. May not be pushing on as some people would like, and progressing and looking forward, but we're in the Premier League, and we are, being here for the longest run we've ever had in our history. We're in a good spot as a club right now. Whether we're performing that way or not, we're still in the Premier League going into, what is it now, our 7th season. It's fantastic. It's fantastic as a fan to still be in the Premier League and to be a Premier League club right now. Problem always is, every season, in my opinion, bar the first season we came up because we bought too many players that summer, and naturally as a newly promoted club you buy players to keep you up. Bar that, and I think the Pardew season that the FA Cup final season, we've had very slow starts to the season, really slow starts. Immediately there, after 2 months into the season, we're in and amongst the relegation battle, and that's whereabouts we're going to be for the rest of the season, and trying to get out of that mess. And I think there is a correlation with us having slow starts to the season and poor starts to the season, more importantly, with the poor and slow transfer dealings we do in the summer, and how poor in recent years our transfers have been. There's a correlation there for me. The fact that Max Meyer, I know it was a fantastic deal, absolutely fantastic deal. He came in very late in that window, left him not a lot of time to gel. He missed quite a lot of pre-season with the squad. And that's why as a club we were buzzing. We can't wait to see him play. But maybe we were jumping the gun a bit. We clearly were jumping the gun a bit, because he needed time to settle in, learn a bit more of the language, because he wasn't very fluent in English. Adapt to the Premier League. It took him most of the season to do that, and I think next season he is going to flourish. I really hope he does, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does play. Excuse me, I keep getting hiccups. But that just goes to show, he needed more time to develop, and it looks like we're making the same problem again. We're waiting way too long to bring players in. We're already 3 games into pre-season. No new Henderson, of course, is the only one, but he doesn't count as a first-team player at all. We've got no new signings coming in, new first-team players coming in that we can bring to the squad, start to gel, start to get familiar with the team, the unity, be ready in time for the start of the season against Everton. And that, at the end of the day, that is a big problem that I think Parish is having. He's taking far too long. Dougie Freedman, why haven't we, in the months coming up to the end of the season and going into the summer, had our targets laid out? Obviously Wan-Bissaka, you can't. That's a last minute thing. That's happened. That's happened over the transfer window. So you've got to react to that. But before that happened, surely they looked at it and thought, right, we do still need a striker. Batshuayi is showing that. We know he's going to be going. He's only in on a loan, but we need a striker. We have got defensive frailties, in terms of injury-prone centre-backs. So it's clear. I mean, last game season against Bournemouth, we played 4 full-backs, really, if you count Kelly as a full-back. He's technically a fourth-choice centre-back, but he started off as a full-back. We played 4 full-backs in the final game of the season. So surely Dougie Freedman and Parish, and I'm mainly talking about Dougie Freedman here, seeing as this is his job at the end of the day. This is what he's being paid for by the club, first and foremost. Director of football, and he's the one who's got to sort out the transfers. Surely looking at that, even at the end of the season, we need a striker and a centre-back. That was dead on, and a backup winger. The only real surprise or the shock, or the one you had to react to in the transfer window was Wan-Bissaka going for 50 million to United. So now right back straight into it. But surely we should have been going into that window with our main targets lined out. Bang. As soon as the window opens, go and get it done. Why wait? The only reason I think we're waiting this long, or we're not doing any activities, because we're not prepared and we're not ready. And I think that sums up, and that correlates for me with the start of the season. The first 2 months of our seasons that we've had in previous years, most of our years in the Prem, we've not been ready and we look unprepared. And I think that the lack of signings coming in early enough to integrate with the squad is a big reason for that. And the squad not being ready, stuff like this in pre-season as well, is just, it's not good. It's not good, and that is an area. If Dougie Freedman again bottles it again this summer window, and we get into deadline day with no new signings, and you make a panic buy again, like Sorloth was, and it's sad to say that, but Sorloth is a panic buy, and it's looking more and more like he's not going to be good enough. And I think further down the line, he has the qualities and the potential to be a Premier League striker, but he's not ready at the moment, not yet. I think we're either going to sell him or loan him out again this season. But he was a panic buy, deadline day, just to try and keep the fans happy. How do we if we come to that again, then Dougie Freeman's job, I think, has to be looked at. I think we've got to look at someone else who can come in and perform in the transfer window. Parish has obviously got to have a criticism as well. I'm not going to criticise him for this window yet, because there's still time, but time is running out. Realistically, we need transfers in the next week or so if they're going to be ready and gelled with the squad enough for the start of the season. Because if we don't, then we're going to start slowly again. I can see it happening. So that's my thoughts on it, and I think that's what Roy was alluding to, because he had to experience it last summer. He kept coming out, because he's not involved with transfers, he kept coming out and saying in quotes like, we need this, like, I'm sure the boards are working very hard behind the scenes. He was alluding to it like, I hope, like, hint, hint, bring some players in. We need some players. And they took forever and didn't do it in the end. And they had deadline day signings that were panic buys in the summer window. And the same there's very similar things happening now as well, in comparisons to last summer. So if it happens again, there is going to be uproar online. Of course there is, and I can understand that. It's not good enough. But I just feel for Roy, to be honest. He's been left in a crap position. What more does the guy have to do? Like, he did so well for us, keeping us up the year he came in. Last summer, it's like he got criticism, but towards the end of the season again, we played very well. Did his job, mid-table finish. I was happy with it in the end, even though it was a bit of a dull season for us, but some fantastic results in there. And it's looking like it could be a similar thing again this year. I was surprised if he carries on longer than one more season, if the way we're going in terms of transfers. All right, let's talk about some more comments. Sorry, guys, I went on a bit there, but again, got to just get my thoughts across on this. Saints, thoughts on Steve Bruce at Newcastle? It's a bit of a joke, to be honest. It's a bit of a laugh. That's the other thing. You got to look at, we're going to go down. There's always Newcastle, and I do feel sorry for the Geordies, because I do like Newcastle as a place, as a club. I do like the club a lot, and it's a fantastic ground as well. When I've been there, it's just amazing, and everything about it. You can tell the love of football. To go from Benitez to Steve Bruce, who is from Newcastle but chose to manage Sunderland, has come out and like kind of said he's not a proper Newcastle boy. Really, really weird. Really weird. Mid-table championship manager who's, you know, not done very well in the Prem in his years where he was in the Prem. He looked like he was coming towards the end or going on a slight decline. There's always Mike Ashley to help bring you back up. Yeah, Bruce is a traitor. That's right. I can't believe it. I can't believe. Would rather sign a right back or outfield player ahead of the new season? A right back is an outfield player, Jordan. We need owners who are going to be focused on only us so we can get more than 15 mil. And that's the other thing. Good point, George. Transfer budget's quite small, as far as I'm aware. Not now that... Well, the fact that we got 50 mil from Wan-Bissaka means we've got a bigger budget. I'd like to think a lot of that money's gone into the budget. But I feel like a big chunk of it's been set aside for the stadium, which is the way it goes sometimes. The owners want to sell the club. You've got to remember that too. So whenever the owners are looking to sell a club in the middle of a transfer window, there's not exactly going to be much money from the owners coming on transfers because they're not going to give money, millions of pounds away to the club that they want to get out of or want to leave. Why would they do that? And I don't blame them for it. In my opinion, if they want to go, then fair play. I'm not going to cry over that or then I wish them well or anything. From what I've seen, I've hardly seen them around the ground. Hardly heard anything from them. I didn't know they were here. It doesn't look like they've had that much money put into the club. I know we've had development to the training ground and things like this, and I think that is down to them. The stadium plans they're a big reason for that. I understand that, and I'm grateful for that. But in terms of transfers, it's looking like we've got a very small budget every summer, and I'm thinking at the end of the day, these guys are billionaires. You know, it's hard to talk about. But the fact the owners want out makes it harder for us to have the money to spend as well because the owners wanted to sell the club. So it's not. Barnet result aside, because I'm not counting that in this discussion. Barnet result aside, it's not good. We're not looking very prepared for the start of the season again, and that's worrying. That's worrying as a fan. We're not looking prepared. Oh, Jamie James, hello mate, welcome back, guys. Obviously, subscribe to Jamie James' YouTube channel if you haven't already. A lot of good Everton content on there. Fellow 90min vlogger, obviously playing Everton first game of the season. As a genuine thought, and if both teams' stats scores stay the same, who wins the first game of the season, Everton or Palace? Also, what position do you think? I thought that was a good game to have first game of the season at home. At home to Everton, first game of the season, I think is a good game. It's a good chance for Palace or a team like Palace to get a win against one of the bigger teams in the division, especially a team like Everton who are continuing to strengthen and develop. Right now, as of this point, I don't think we're winning that game. And if we lose heavily, that will set up the season for relegation battle, in my opinion. I think Everton are more likely. You're making signings. Delph's a decent signing, I think. I don't know why you necessarily bought him, because I think midfielder, you're stacked in midfield positions. But hey-ho, it must mean there are some outgoings in midfield, James. Yeah, Edward, sorry. I think that right now, Everton will win it. As of now, Everton will win the first game of the season, in my opinion. Hopefully that changes further down the window. In terms of right now, where I think Palace finish, I think mid-table to lower to mid-table. I still don't think we're getting relegated. I still think we've got the strength and the quality. I'm much more confident that we'll be keeping Zaha as well. So with Zaha in the team, I'm very confident as well that we will stay up. But I feel like it's going to be another lackluster season, or it's got that feel of a lackluster season coming up, which is a shame. Brad the Lad, Harvey, bro, being on channel. But yeah, I remember you, mate. Remember you. I'm not too bad, man. Just talking Palace. A bit disappointed with how pre-season's going. It's mainly pre-season chat, transfer chat at the moment with Palace. Later today, I've got football training in North London, which is a bit of a trek, but for Imperial Wolf. We've got, of course, guys, on the ticker down below. Make sure you follow Imperial Wolf on Instagram and Twitter. Did a shoot with them yesterday. Really interesting shoot in London, and that will be coming out in the new series that they're going to be bringing out on the YouTube channel, Imperial Wolf channel. Some great stuff. We've got another game coming up as well on Sunday. It will be, all I can say is our first away game of the season. And, hopefully by the end of this week, we should have the DTFC game coming up as well. I'm sure a lot of you know the result already, but if you don't, be sure to watch it. It's an absolute cracker. Imperial Wolf versus DTFC, all filmed. Highlights will be going up hopefully by the end of this week. So Imperial Wolf, guys, follow them up on social media if you haven't, because there's some fantastic stuff coming out soon. Still can't believe I'm part of the team. Really happy to be part of the team. Some great guys in there. But yeah, back to Palace. Train Spotter and Football Fan Day. What a name. What's the nearest station to Crystal Palace Football Club? So we've got a number, mate. In terms of, people always say, "Oh, get into the grounds are a pain in the arse." We got a good transfer. We've got good train links. I think we've got 3 stations really that are quite close. Norwood Junction is it's a decent, not hardly. It's right around the corner from the ground. We're talking half a mile walk from the ground. Norwood Junction. You can go to East Croydon, the main. I think that it's the largest station in the southeast, outside of London. East Croydon. So you can very easily from links into London. Sorry, excuse me. You can, from multiple stations in London, you can get trains down to East Croydon, change there, get a train to Selhurst. If you get a train to Selhurst, it's literally a walk up the hill from the station. You're literally, you come out of the station, you walk down, turn a right up one of the streets, and you can see the ground there. It's literally right next door. It's a smaller station though, so it's a bit harder to get to in terms of, you'd have to make more changes on your journey. But that's right around the corner. You've got Norwood Junction, I said, and we've also got Thornton Heath Station which is a bit further out, but again, it's within walking distance. But it's a bit like Selhurst. You're going to have to change at a bigger station. You're going to have more changes on your journey to get to Thornton Heath. But Norwood Junction and East Croydon are 2 big ones you can get to. East Croydon, even from East Croydon, you can Uber it or taxi it from there. It's 2 or so miles out, or 2 or 3 miles away from East Croydon train station. So a lot of links, mate. A lot of links. What do you think about Trent as a right back? Says Tristan. He's the best right back in the world right now, in my opinion, in terms of the modern fullback. He is. My African grey parrot always talks to the Alexa in our house, and it told it to play farting noise and it started laughing. What a comment! Brad the lad. What a random comment, but one of the most amazing ones I've ever had in a live stream. What the hell? Who do you think will replace Wan-Bissaka? Mate, I don't know. I think it's interesting at Norwich. Aaron's, who we've been talked about around the Palace, I think he would have sights on bigger teams if he transfers to another club. I don't think we get him, but it's weird that they just signed Sam Byram as of yesterday, Norwich, who's also a right back. Don't know what's going on there, unless they're planning on having Max Aarons play further ahead, or they're planning for a sale of Max Aarons. I would have had Max Aarons up there. I think Castagna as well is a big name, but again, he's playing European football. I doubt, even if the lure of the Premier League, I doubt he'd come to Palace. I don't know really, mate, but we need to get a first choice right back in ASAP. Hey, hi, Harv. Hi, Phil. Thank you for coming into stream. Thank you guys again for all your support, everyone who's still in and everyone who has been watching. Obviously, this will be going up to YouTube when I finish, so anyone who hasn't seen it will be able to comment below. But people who are here live, thank you for watching, and anyone watching later on, thank you for watching as well. Hi, Harv. Gyro at left back. I still rate Readable, man. I still think he deserves a run out. But again, he started against Barnet and he couldn't do it. He's starting to look a bit fitter, I think. He's going to go. I feel like he's going to go this summer, out on loan, season on loan. I think it's the best bet. I wouldn't sell him, but I think he's going to go out on loan because I don't think Roy has plans for him in the first team. I think his best position is in a DM role, like a ball-playing DM role, like he was so good at Ajax, a centre-back playing, spraying the ball out from the back. You've seen how Ajax have played in recent years. Like, these academy players who come through Ajax and perform well in the first team, give them a chance. Like, I'd love to see Gyro have a run in the team, but I can't see it happening. And left back is probably his weakest position. I think it's centre back or DM that he's his best at. But you never know. He's an option. He's an option at the end of the day. With Papa Suarez looks like he's going to be going out. He's another. He's an option there to fill in if we need cover, which we will at some point in the season, I think. What do you think about Chelsea's transfer window so far? The CFC. And where can the club get to? You're talking about Charlton or Chelsea? I don't know what CFC. There's a few CFCs it could be. How do you feel that Lampard wants Batman? Does that mean we won't get him unless we overpay? Absolutely, Jordan. If Lampard's dead set on we need to keep... The fact Morata's gone, I think that's really bad news for us because I think that means he's going to keep Batshuayi. Even if he doesn't start him, I think he's going to keep him in the squad as an option. I think that if that's the case, it was going to be hard enough, even if they were looking to get rid of Batshuayi with a transfer ban, which I doubt they were going to anyway. But with a transfer ban, even if they wanted to get rid of Batshuayi, they would have still, they're not thick. Chelsea would have still set his price really high because of their transfer ban situation. They can do that. And now I think I think it would be far too much for us to go in and buy him now. We might be able to get away with another loan. I doubt it though, and I doubt he would be happy with that. Batshuayi as well. I think he wants to crack on now of his career in the Prem and settle down and get game time as a Chelsea player. But if I think we will be overpaying now, I think our sights have to look elsewhere, which is a shame because I would have loved Batman at our club because he was so fantastic in the second half of last season. He had a good goal return as well. People kind of thought there were games he went without scoring, but when you look to the end of the season, he had a goal every 2 games, something like that. And for a team like Palace, that's a very good return. He's a goal scorer we needed. He had the movement, the intelligence up front that we needed. He just fitted in so well. He looked perfect in the team. He had the source players in Zaha, Sacco, Townsend, you had Benteke, these players who on social media dripping in sauce. And then you would have had Batshuayi in there as well. He fitted like a glove into the team. He really did. So it's a shame that I don't think we're going to be able to. Agree about Castan. Yeah, it would be nice to have him, Phil. Really, I think he would be a fantastic option. He's still young as well, and he's of a better quality, in my opinion, than Wan-Bissaka. But I don't think we'd be able to afford him, and I don't think he'd come to us I think he'd rather go to a bigger Premier League club if we were to come to the Prem. Are you a fan of Klein? I think it'd be a good replacement. I don't think he strengthens us. I don't think it's very hard to bring in a player of the quality or better than Wan-Bissaka. Let's be real. But I think for nostalgic reasons, it'd be great to see him back home, and maybe that'll kick him on and produce a lot more from him. Question marks maybe over fitness. Question marks again over, as I said, quality. I think he's dipping down in his quality. He's also knocking on a bit in terms of age as a professional footballer. We'll probably have a few more years out of him if he comes, and he's on big wages as well. All of this is stacking up to negatives, but just from a fan's point of view, I'd love to see Nathaniel Klein again in a Palace shirt. I would love that. Hopefully, if he were to come in, he would still be of the quality we need at right back and be good enough to help us, stay up and kick on in the league. And I think hopefully him coming back to us would bring out the best in him again. But I'm definitely a fan of Klein, don't get me wrong, and I would be happy to see him back, but it's one of those signings that coming in is to please the fans, and it not necessarily because he's the best option at right back that we could get. But I'd still love to see him back. Hi Jordan, yeah, Lookman is literally the definition of the signing that I want as a backup winger and as a winger that could play, push Zaha and Townsend all the way in training and knock on the door for a first team spot. That's the perfect kind of winger I'm talking about. 22 mil to go back to Leipzig is the rumoured fee. Why aren't we having a piece of that? We should be able to afford that. I know it's quite a lot for a winger who may not necessarily start. And he may, let's be real, Lookman at this point in his career will probably want to start. But it's the sort of player we should be looking at, 100%. Do you think... Oh, there you go. This is a positive comment. Do you think Amsu will have an noticeable improvement next season? 100%, Zilfahar. We've got the Fanatics moving into the middle of the Homesdale stand next season. I'm so excited for that because obviously I've got on my... Follow up on the ticker down below on my Twitter at Red and Blue site. You'll see my my tweet that I've got on my homepage. Is of me at the FA Cup game against Tottenham in the third round at home, and that was when the Fanatics moved there for the first time. It was like a trial of it to test it, and it was rocking. It was so good, and I was there in and amongst it. Obviously, I got the video of us chanting the Townsend chant, and that went semi-viral all over Twitter that night. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So I'm buzzing for the next new season and how that's going to affect the atmosphere and make it even better than it already is. I'm really looking forward to that. Where do you think CPFC will finish next season if they get a good striker up front? If we could get a first-team striker in who can score goals, top 10 finish, but we still got options. We still need to sort ourselves out defensively until a centre back and a right back comes in defensively, and we're shored up there. I'm not confident on us pushing up into the top 10 at all. I think we need signings, man. We need signings, and I know that they're trying. I know that Dougie and the board, they're trying, and that it's not like they're not looking for players and not trying to get players in. But again, we're so slow in doing it. Like, it's frustrating. It's so frustrating when all these teams are doing business around us, and it's making it look so easy. And they're good players they're bringing in too. Why are we so slow? Like, why? It can only be bad for us to be slow bringing players in. There is no good reason. There's no good result that comes out of being slow in the transfer market and waiting until late on. There's no. You might be able to snatch a good deal on deadline day, but equally you probably won't, because teams will need to replace a player that they're selling, and the fees will go up. Absolutely, Saint-Maximin is the one player that is at the top of my list. I want him. I want him at my club with that Gucci headband, a red and blue Gucci headband. Give him whatever he wants, Jordan. I'll bring him in. I'd love it. Him and Lookman are two players I'd love to see in red and blue. Will it happen? I doubt it. There's been speculation and big rumours linking Saint-Maximin to us, but nothing concrete. There's no bids. No bids have been put in, and I don't know why sort of player like that who can step up to the Prem. In his highlights, he is literally Palace all over. A winger who's a skillful winger, like Zaha, like Balassi in recent years, Victor Moses, wingers who are direct, like to be a showboater, get the fans off their seats. That kind of winger is Palace down to the ground. More Source FC. You'd add to that list the Source FC players. Kahinda, what's going on with the new stadium? It's still going to happen, I think, but it's a big reason why our transfer budget's small. It's because a lot of the money in the club is going towards that. There's been some stuff over, I think planning permission's been approved, but there's stuff over having the Croydon Council, I think, approved something in terms of transport links, things like that. I don't know the ins and outs, but it's being delayed. I think the plans are still there, and the plans to make it happen are still there, but it's just being slow. Jack, thoughts on Morelos? This is a good comment there from Jack. Thank you, mate. I think as a goal scorer, he wants to. It's clear that from his comments, he wants to make the step up to the Prem, and he wants to try and test himself at a Premier League club. And I think a team of our level is perfect for him, and I think a team of our level is where he's looking at and where he could flourish. As a goal scorer, 30-odd goals he scored last season, right? I think it was fantastic. And one thing for sure, he knows how to put the ball in the net, and I think that's what we need. He's a fiery character as well. That's the other point I wanted to make. Was it like 4 red cards he got last season? 3 red cards? That could be an issue. But I'd risk his fiery attitude and like other teams knowing that and just looking to wind him up for 90 minutes to try and get a reaction and get him sent off. I would take that risk to have him playing for the team because he scores goals and he's fiery character. And I think that Palace fans, the South London grit, we have that. We really like as a fan base when a player like puts all on the line for the team. We'll square up to players who get in our players' faces. Something we've been missing over years. We've been missing that edge, that F off sort of player getting into other players' faces. If Zaha gets fouled, I feel like Morelos would be bang over there trying to get players away and shouting at the ref, things like that. I'm not saying it's good for the game, but it's what we love as fans, definitely in South London. You want more of that. We've lost that when Jedi left. When Jedinak left, we completely lost that, I think. Luca, to an extent, does it, but we haven't got enough of that in the team. We haven't got enough of that, and I think Morelos is a perfect player in terms of a goal scorer and of a fiery character who can, back up the team in times when, they're getting niggly fouls are being put in, things like that. Why does CPFC sell their good players? We're not usually a selling club. Actually, that's a lie. Our good players we do sell for, but then again we do very good deals. Like Balassi coming in for £250,000, selling for a profit. A lot of these players we bring in cheap, sell for a profit. to an extent, there's not much you could do. If Wan-Bissaka wants to go to United and United are offering that much money, then it's not the end of the world. It's all about replacing the players, Kahinda. It's all about replacing the players. Thoughts on Saka to PSG rumours? I don't think Saka's going anywhere. I think he's staying. The problem, of course, is his fitness. I don't think he'll be ready in time for the start of the season. Right now, remains to be seen. But I don't think Saka's going anywhere just yet. Got 5, there you go. But one was rescinded. But there you go, 5, technically 4. But I don't mind that. I honestly don't mind that. If he gets sent off, it'll be so frustrating and things like that. If he was playing for us and if he gets multiple red cards in the season, there will be a lot of fans like critiquing that. And Roy Hodgson, I don't think, is the sort of manager who will like that sort of player to be that fiery and that, he needs to keep a cool head. But then again, Roy's the right manager to be able to get that out of him and keep a cool head out of him. You never know, mate. Diego Costa, mate, we just can't afford that sort of player. I don't think we have the budget. I don't think we have the wage budget in place either for that sort of player. We're looking to keep the wage budget, monitoring that and trying not to have it go too high. I don't think Diego Costa to Wolves is a good deal for Wolves because Wolves can do that sort of deal. We can't right now, and there's no way Costa would come to us. No way. It has to be a European club, Costa, at this point in his career. Okay, guys, I think I've kind of covered everything I want to talk about. It's been great talking to you guys, as always. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm going to probably finish up now. I'm going to get some lunch, actually. I've got football training later with Imperial Wolf. So, guys, I will finish up there. Obviously, you can message me on Twitter, tweet me any other things you wanted to talk about that didn't get talked about in the stream. Again, thank you so, so much for watching and all your support. I really appreciate it. Almost at 2K subs. Let's get us up to 2K subs. Start sharing this out to any other Palace fans who want to engage with some, video conversations like this, video format. There's a lot, as I said at the start of the stream, so many fan pages, fan blogs, pages where you can write and discuss and talk things Palace to other fans. Not a lot in terms of media and actual video engagement with other Palace fans. So hopefully more Palace fans come and subscribe. I'd love that. I really appreciate there's fans from everywhere on here, and not necessarily some people who aren't even Palace fans watching as well, and I just love that. I really, really appreciate that. So thank you. Well, one thing before I finish, obviously follow up social channels down below on the ticker, but importantly follow 90 Min as always, and Imperial Wolf FC. As I said, more content with Imperial Wolf FC coming up. Some big games coming up as well that I'm sure you'll be excited to see. I can't wait to show them to you. Subscribe if you're new, of course. And if you want to support the stream even more, you got the super chat down below as well. If you wanted to donate to the channel in any way and support the channel, obviously all the money goes towards improving the channel. That's another thing you can do, or you can hit the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed already, hit the liking would be great. Share as well. Sharing out onto all social medias is one of the most important things as well. As I say, I love getting more and more Palace fans, more and more fans into discussing topics. There we go. It was mainly talking about pre-season so far and the transfer situation at Palace. If you're new to the stream or new to the channel, subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down your thoughts below if you're watching this as a repeat. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you all. See you guys next time. I don't know when that will be, but it won't be in the too distant future. Hopefully we get some more transfer business coming in, and there'll be some more positive stuff to talk about around Crystal Palace. Thank you guys so much for watching.